Okay, I'm gonna use Kim and Kanye to teach a lesson about your own value, understanding your own value, not tolerating anybody who comes at you in patriarchal ways and treating you like objects, because they show you who they are and they show you early. So if you don't do things to put yourself in vulnerable positions with them, you stay in the driver's seat to be able to change your damn mind sooner and not be subjected to the abuse, emotional, mental, even when it ain't physical, y'all. I don't need to tell you that that's the kind of stuff that you carry, and you don't have to. I'm also going to use DL Hughley in this. There's a video out there where he is trying to stand up for us.
Why talk to him? Pete Davidson is a scribe. Like, I don't get what the point is of threatening him. Like, if you threatening the dude that's fucking your woman, all he gonna do is fuck her harder.
But he missed the mark. Before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you enjoy my content. Like, engage, comment, and hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever new videos drop. Let's do it. If you haven't already, I have a masterclass that I've created so that you can see how the conditioning works on all of us. It's not just the men. We're all conditioned for some bullshit. And that's why women tolerate so much of it. So in order to start cutting through it, you've got to understand who you are, your archetype, your particular design, and how everything else is working for or against you. Okay, so let's talk Kanye and Kim. Indirectly, I'm going to use them to really talk about the fragility of men that patriarchy produces. If men had the same ability to be vulnerable, to be emotional, to be affected, to be all the things that are supposed to be negative that they assign to women that are just human, then we could address things a lot easier and a lot sooner. You see, nobody is born with a mental disorder. We keep hearing them attaching labels to Kanye, and I'm not saying he's not, because mental illness is real, but nobody starts with a mental illness, okay? They are developed. They are developed because we live in a society that places conditions, and people start to try and fit those conditions. And this poor thing has been using his stardom instead of figuring out who he is so he can actually live according to his own design, instead of trying to fit other people's desires for him. Because at this point, once you are part of a system, and the entertainment business, make no mistake about it, is a system. And once you are a part of a system, you also have to accommodate that system. There is nobody making that level of money who has autonomy. They have to do what they're told.
You don't have to understand that, and I ain't digging into it.
You want to go down that rabbit hole, it is absolutely available for you. Most people do not. Most people like to skate on the surface and just believe the junk that's being thrown out there. Now, I believe that Kim is part of the junk. I believe that their whole relationship is part of the junk. I believe that David's, whatever the boy's name is, that Kim is now involved in. Y'all, I'm so far removed from much of this stuff. I'm only coming to address these things because it is a point of reference that many of you are following. I am here to talk to you about the harassment, the stalking, and all of those other things so that you can start to recognize the signs and then to do some things that are to your advantage to get away from it. So to think it's funny to hurt a woman, to think it's funny to threaten a woman, to think it's funny to intimidate a woman. This man bought a house across the street from her in the middle of their divorce. There is no good reason for that. Don't be talking about you trying to be a good parent or nothing. The only reason for that is intimidation, because you know she's moved on and she's seeing somebody else. Now, I ain't getting into whether or not she should be moving on because they're not divorced and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about an immature man. He wasn't thinking about nobody but himself. What's funny about this, here's the other thing that he did. He used her past against her. He's the one who went back and pulled up the fact that how she got famous with the video. Y'all know the video. If you don't, go look it up. I ain't going into all of that. But he used that against her the moment anybody, male or female, take any part of your past to try and use against you, because that's not the first time he did that. He did it too readily. He's been doing all of this too readily. He's probably been doing that for the whole time. The moment somebody uses your past against you, then that might be the first time they do it. It will not be the last. You got to be smarter than them. Make some decisions to get up out of that thing. Because the longer you're with them, the more opportunity there is for your relationship to compound with children and things that you get together, and the harder it is to break those things apart, you get in deeper. So you're smart to recognize it from the beginning and to bail without any explanations and without any further contact. Do no contact with fools like that and go on with life. Life will be kinder to you when you make decisions for you rather than considering giving more and more chances to people who have demonstrated to you that they are fools. I am also including in this a video with D.L. Hughley. Now, I don't really know what Vlad TV is, but that's what I found. So the fellow who is interviewing him, I'd like to slap him on the back of the head too, because some of the stuff that he found funny is just a part of the atrocity of men using women as playthings, because that's what patriarchy is. That's what misogyny is. I think it's very interesting in this very patriarchal society, even when men are standing up for us, I want you to pay attention to the ways in which they do it. And you know I'll point it out if you don't see it. So I'm going to watch this with you. He points out some very important things when it comes to stalking women, and the fact that it ends up too often being the end of women. So women, pay attention.
Kanye and Kim. Sure. I felt it was kind of, in the beginning it was somewhat funny seeing him just post all this stuff about Kim and Pete Davidson and everything else like that. But as it's beginning to drag on, he's really, really terrorizing this woman online.
It's never been fun.
Well, he put like the Marvel poster, so I found it kind of amusing. There's definitely a comedy slant to what he was doing at one point, but then it's like, all right, you're telling people that, they want to beat up Pete Davidson, he got him in a chokehold, he's reposting all these text messages. It's like 20 posts a day.
I just never, the difference between him and the other dude that get restraining orders on them is hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right, because he bought a house across the street from her house.
Listen, I think that I've watched too many times where things like that happen and a woman or somebody's not believed, and then things escalate.
Yeah.
He is stalking her. You can think it's cute. If it was my daughter, I'd do something about it. I don't think it's funny. I think that you can't write a beat so good that you get to do these things. And society laughs it off because they say, well, she showed her ass all the time, and he's this, and he's that, and that. At a certain point, it is not unusual for men like that. The difference between him and a restraining order is about 20 hits and a couple of $100 million. I just don't think it's funny. I think that Kanye wouldn't get no pussy at all if he didn't write no hits. You know that. Like, he's not the kind of dude. He counts on the shit that this mystique.
Right.
And in the end, she got just as much bread as she did.
Yeah.
And why talk to him? Pete Davidson is a scribe. Like, I don't get what the point is of threatening him. Like, if you threatening the dude that's fucking your woman, all he gonna do is fuck her harder. like all he gonna do is tell you.
And she chose him, obviously.
It's enough.
Okay, listen. He said all the man is going to do is fuck her harder. If that's not some misogynistic possessive, dismissive, objectifying shit? I don't know. But listen, that's why you don't need to be hopping from one to another. And I've got a video somewhere, I'll tag it or put it in the description. Between every relationship you have, you've got to unravel that thing. You have to investigate that thing. You have to become better because of that thing so that you don't end up just getting fucked harder. And unless you recognize your own value, you get caught up in that mess, thinking it's love or hoping that somebody will love you, when most people have no clue what that looks like, because anybody who's gonna love you has to love from a self-loving place. Most people have not established their own self-love. Somewhere in Kanye's mind, along with a whole lot of other men, believe that if they have decided that somebody is their woman, then that is a possession consciousness. You are an object to them. And unless you come into this thing understanding your own value, your own autonomy, and not being subjected to that kind of a hierarchy, if it's not equality, it's a hierarchy. If you submit to the hierarchy, then you have surrendered yourself as some piece of possession. And you can say what you want, that's what religion does, that's what religion teaches. I don't watch much TV, but I do watch the ID channel. I consider it informative, educational programming about real lives. Most of the shows on ID channel are about real life situations. It's about people committing crimes against those that they claim to love. And when I say crimes, I don't mean no petty theft. I mean they are killing the people they claim to love. This is not just intimate relationships. It is also family situations. What it screams to me is a lack of emotional intelligence. What it screams is that people have no idea how to control themselves. They have no idea how to govern their emotions, their thoughts, because behaviors follow thoughts. What are you thinking about? What do you believe? What ideals do you have? This stuff doesn't come out of the blue. People show you who they are, but unless you have already established for yourself how you must be treated, who you are, what's important to you, your own value system, then you don't know how to match up with another. So you are just willy-nilly out here connecting with folk and putting yourself in danger. Intimate partner danger is real. So you can't go on, ooh, this feels good. No. What are your values, and have they come out of your own self-love bank? I can answer that, yes. If you tolerate mistreatment, then your self-love bank is low. You haven't done the work to be in a position to actually give yourself to another. And with Kanye and his mental health issues, and look, this ain't saying that people with mental health issues don't deserve love. I ain't saying that. But if I've experienced a Kanye, the last thing I'm looking for is somebody who I know got mental health issues. That's all I'm saying. All right. Off of that, say what you will, whatever. I want to look at DL Hughley right now, because this is a brother who looks like he is looking after us. He has women's best interest at heart. And as best he can, I guess he is. Listen, this is all in evolution. We're all in an evolution right now, okay? And DL is hooked in where he's hooked in. DL's almost 60, late 50s, I guess. He was born deep in the patriarchal space. I'm not saying he hasn't evolved, but you still have work to do. Again, if you enjoy this content, subscribe, like, comment, share. Listen, it's your life. Choose it just as it is. Own it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Change it. As long as you can breathe and learn, it can get better. from Medellin, Colombia. Bye for now.